This is the solution video for section 4.3, problem number 5. All right, so the directions here say, given f prime, find the x values where f attains local extreme values. Give the interval for which f is increasing and decreasing. All right, so first of all, we need to recognize that we are given f prime of x. And so first step here would simply be to set this thing equal to 0. All right, so I have 0 equals x to the negative second, x minus 3 to the negative 1/2, minus x minus 3 to the positive 1/2, and then I have 2 times x to the negative third. All right, so what I would like to do is I would like to solve. So I'm going to factor out the lower power of each thing. All right, so I have x to the negative second, and I have x to the negative third. So I'm going to factor out the lower power, x to the negative third. And then I have x minus 3 to the negative 1/2 and x minus 3 to the positive 1/2. So I'm going to factor out x minus 3 to the negative 1/2 because that is the lower power. All right, so then that leaves me with what? Well, I had an x to the negative second. I took out an x to the negative third, so I'm going to have an x to the what remaining? Well, if I take negative 3 out of negative 2, I must have had 1 remaining x to the first, right? Because negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. All right, then I have minus. Now I have a 2 there, and then I have an x minus 3 to the what? Well, same way, negative 1/2 plus 1 is positive 1/2. So this would be an x minus 3 to the first. So now I have the first thing, x to the negative third equals 0. X minus 3 to the negative 1/2 equals 0. Or this thing, x minus 2x plus 6 is equal to 0. All right. So now x to the negative third equals 0. Well, that is never true because 1 over x cubed cannot equal 0. But you would have to say if x cubed is 0, then x equals 0 makes f prime undefined, right? Which is important to note. All right. X minus 3 to the negative 1/2. All right, so now remember, when is that equal to 0? Well, that's never 0 because that means 1 over the square root of x minus 3 equals 0, which cannot be true. But if the denominator, square root of x minus 3, is equal to 0, then that tells us that the denominator, or that the function would be undefined. So I'm going to square both sides and I'm going to add 3. So x equals 3, once again, makes f prime undefined. But also, if you think about it, anything less than or equal to 3 would make f prime undefined. All right. And then lastly here, we have x minus 2x plus 6 equals 0. So that gives negative x plus 6 equals 0. So I subtract 6 divided by negative 1, x equals 6. All right, so what does that mean? All right, that means that we're going to put 3 and 6 on our number line, and I have x to the negative third. I have x minus 3 to the negative 1/2, and then I have negative x plus 6. All right, so now I have my 3 rows. All right, so x equals 0 should go over here, but remember, this would have been undefined, right? All right, so I have that. All right, and then I have x equals 3. Remember, that would have been undefined as well, but also to the left would have been undefined, right? And then, okay, on the bottom row, I'm going to put a 0 here. All right, so now on the top row, if I plug a positive number into x to the negative third, I'm going to get a positive, right? Okay, down here, if I put a number to the left of 3, I should get a 0, or sorry, not a 0, an undefined, but a number to the right, like 4. 4 minus 3 is positive, so the 1 over the square root of a positive is a positive, right? And then lastly, a number to the left of 6, like 5. Negative 5 plus 6 is positive. And a number to the right, like 7. Negative 7 plus 6 is negative. So now I carry these down. This would be undefined. This would be positive. And this would be negative. All right. So when is f increasing? F is increasing on the interval 3 to 6. F is decreasing on the interval 6 to infinity. Let's think about this. It's undefined over here, right? So there should not be some sort of a local anything there. All right, but then there would be a local max, right? Because derivative changes from positive to negative at x equals 6.